All right, let's talk about the one trading strategy that really separates the amateurs from the professionals. We're going to break down how to stop chasing the market and instead learn how to let the best opportunities come directly to you. It's time to master the pullback.
So let's be honest. Does this feel familiar? You see a stock or a coin just taking off, and you get that pit in your stomach, that panic, that FOMO, the feeling that you are just about to miss out on the big one. It's like you're always just one step behind.
And this right here, this says it all, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the amateur frantically chasing price, running on pure emotion. But on the other side, the professional, they're calm, they wait. Seriously, just getting this one difference in mindset is a total game changer.
So first, let's really dig into why we have that chasing instinct, because you have to understand the mistake before you can fix it. This is what we're going to call the chaser's trap.
You know that voice in your head, right? The market is just ripping higher and your brain is screaming, "Go, get in, you have to get in right now before it's too late." It's this incredibly powerful emotional impulse that feels so urgent in the moment.
And boom, here's the painful and frankly predictable result of acting on that feeling. You end up buying at the very top of that emotional rocket ship, often right as the smart money is starting to sell. It's the classic trap, and it's how you get stuck holding the bag at the worst possible price. Okay, so if that's the trap, how in the world do we avoid it? Well, we have to learn to see the market in a completely different way. So let's move on and see how the pros learn to ride the market wave. You know the professional's big secret? It's not some crazy complex formula. It's actually a really simple, fundamental truth. Markets do not move in straight lines. They breathe. They have a rhythm. They move in waves. The first part of that wave is what we call the impulsive move. This is the big, explosive, look-at-me moment. It's fast, it's emotional, and it's the part that gets all the attention and creates all that FOMO we were talking about. But after that big impulse comes the pullback. Now, to a beginner, this looks scary, right? It feels like the trend might be over. But for a pro, this is everything. This slower, more controlled dip isn't a threat. It's the golden opportunity they've been patiently waiting for. And here's the beautiful, simple structure of a healthy uptrend. Step 1, that big impulse move pushes up and makes a new higher high. Then step 2, the market takes a breath and pulls back to form a higher low. This 1-2 punch is the heartbeat of a strong, sustainable trend. Okay, great. So we know we need to wait for a pullback, but which one? How do we know if it's a real opportunity or just a reversal in disguise? Let's dive into the anatomy of a high-quality pullback. So here's where it gets really tactical. We are not just guessing. We are targeting a very specific spot on the chart. In an uptrend, our sweet spot, our entry zone, is that higher low. It's the logical place where we expect buyers to show up again and defend the trend. Now, to really stack the odds in our favor, we look for something called confluence. It's just a fancy way of saying we want a bunch of different reasons all pointing to the exact same area. Is that higher low also at an old resistance level? Is a key moving average sitting right there? When you get multiple factors lining up, your trade just got a whole lot stronger.
But you've got to know the difference. A healthy pullback is kind of lazy. It's slow, it's choppy, the momentum dies down. A dangerous pullback, though, whoa, that's a whole different animal. It's fast, aggressive, and looks like an impulse move against you. That's not a pullback. That's a big red flag.
All right, you've done the work. You've identified the trend. You've marked your zone. You see a healthy-looking pullback coming right into it. Now, for the moment of truth, let's talk about the art of the entry. And listen, this might be the single most important part of this whole thing. Just because the price hits your magic spot on the chart does not mean you automatically hit the buy button. That's still just a guess. The pro waits. They wait for the market to prove to them that the pullback is over. So what does that proof, that confirmation, actually look like? Well, it could be a candle with a really long wick at the bottom, showing that sellers got rejected hard. Or maybe it's a huge green candle that completely engulfs the previous red one, signaling that buyers are back in charge. You're looking for evidence, not just hope. So let's just put it all together into a simple professional checklist. It's literally 4 steps. 1, you do your homework and mark your zones way ahead of time. 2, you sit on your hands and patiently wait for the price to come to you. 3, you wait for that clear confirmation signal. And 4, only when all those boxes are checked, then you execute. You know, when you start trading with a structured process like this, it does more than just help your bottom line. It completely changes your psychology as a trader.
So for our last section, let's talk about the professional mindset.
First up, and this is huge, is just the simple math of it all. When you enter on a pullback, your stop loss can be way tighter, which means your potential reward is so much bigger. You can start setting up trades where you risk just $1 to make $3, $4, $5, or even more.
And then there's this incredible mental shift. Think about it. You're not the one desperately chasing the market down the street anymore. Instead, you're the one in control. You set the appointment at your location, and you simply wait for the market to show up.
And what happens when you stop chasing? You get emotional control. That frantic fear of missing out, that anxiety in your stomach, it just starts to fade away because you know with absolute confidence that there will always be another trend and another pullback and another opportunity.
And this really brings us to the most powerful way to think about all of this. Stop seeing the market as something you have to hunt down and chase. Chasing is the enemy. It's what gets you hurt. Instead, start to see that pullback for what it really is, a calm, structured, high-probability invitation to join the trend.
So, I'll leave you with this. The market is constantly in motion, always creating these big waves and sending out these little pullback invitations. The only question now is, since you know what to look for, will you have the patience and the discipline to accept